Right. I think there may be a 10-second delay. However, I'm assuming that I'm live, although the icon says, okay, do you think I'm live, Apostate Prophet? Do you think we are live?
I don't know. I'm very confused. Oh, yeah, we are live. Okay.
Oh, excellent. There everybody is. Right, that was thrilling. Okay, so this will get edited.
Oh, wait, I forgot to take off my cross.
Well, now everybody knows. That's it. Closer to the heart is always better.
Okay, let's. Everybody knows. We have to stop the stream. Okay, we have to stop the stream. So let's start from the beginning.
I'm afraid that as even just a good person. Anyway, whilst he has a breakdown, I will, and changes his outfit completely. He's going to come back as the Pope, I fear, although I don't know. That would be hilarious. Right, I'm going to get to the point any second now. We're supposedly speaking about Quranic miracles. Obviously, that may take about 20 seconds, and then we can veer off into some other stuff. That's usually the case. We have still not debated the thing we were originally going to debate. But if you don't know him, then his name's on the screen, and go to the channel, not now, obviously, but click the thing and refute his atheism in the strongest possible terms. I'm speaking to all religious people of any faith. I'm joking. Anyway, welcome.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Hi, everybody. Hello. Hi, Kay. How are you doing?
Watcher. I'm all right. I'm wondering why I can't see any comments on my screen.
You probably messed something up. I don't know.
Most probably, but I have to move my camera because I can't. Okay, right. Let's just shuffle that along there and edit something or other. That's what it is. It's private. Now it's public. Once I've set
I think you messed something up here. It says we are live, and we are live. I see us, but it also says here private. Do you have two streams at the same time going on?
Oh, no, I just changed it. Oh, this is out. This is why I don't do live streams with other humans. No, so it's public on YouTube. It's public on YouTube, and on StreamYard, I just changed it. So let me try and put something in the chat. Wow. This is the most organized I've been in ages.
That is very weird.
It is a little odd, unless I just end and start again.
That is very weird, mate. Yeah, no, everybody's saying we're live. Okay. Oh, now I see all the comments. Oh, amazing.
Now I see everyone. Now, how do I get rid of that thing? Oh, that's it. All right. Right, anyway, just talk among yourselves whilst I stop being a Luddite. And, he's going to humiliate me. That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Fuska, for whatever your name is. Bless you for that set of vows.
Oh, yeah, I said I was going to humiliate you.
What am I getting humiliated on? Or is this slander against?
No, I did make a community post before in which I said that you were trying to forcibly convert me to Christianity, and that I destroyed you, and that I will humiliate you, or something like that. And I think that's what the reference is about. And I will, of course, destroy you and humiliate you.
Like feedbacky stuff, and you're quite frozen.
Really?
Other than that, it's all going swimmingly.
This stream is such a mess. What's going on? It's all because of me, probably. Hello? Okay. What?
Oh, lovely. I love all that. But I thought you said destroyed as in past tense, and that would be ridiculous because I can hear you, but very slowly.
There was just a huge delay between you and me. I don't know what the hell is going on. It's like
I know you were frozen, speaking really like a retard, like slowly telling me how you destroyed me.
You can't say that.
Which is just Yahweh in action, everyone. That, like, God pays debts without money. I'll have you all know. But yeah, any topic, anytime, I'm up for it. However, today we are joining forces in our common love of polemicizing Islam, we'll call it. I was going to go for a different word. But off the top of your head, can you think of any miracles whatsoever in the Quran?
Yes, I think about the miracle of the fact that the Quran is taken seriously by so many people in our time. I think that is one of the greatest miracles that we have. And in fact, in my childhood, I was raised basically agreeing with that the only miracle is actually the Quran. So the Quran is the only miracle. It is the greatest miracle. It's the greatest miracle and the only miracle at the same time. So while it is, the greatest, it is also the only one. There is no other. It's very strange. But I today also agree that the Quran is, in fact, the only miracle and also the greatest miracle, because it is such a dumb book, and yet it convinces so many people of being great and of conveying a true message. And I think that is a fantastic miracle. But of course, that's just me. If we want to go into miracles that other people claim are in the Quran, then there are some miracles, such as, for example, that the Quran predicted, or the Quran described the Big Bang, for example. Or
sorry, I'm trying to remain neutral, but there's some absolute classics. Okay, so describe the Big Bang, even though one would imagine, because Allah's pretending to be Yahweh mostly, just like the false nose and moustache kind of thing. But there is no Big Bang, or there's a Big Banger if there's a Big Bang. But didn't he just kun fayakun it, as it were?
Yeah. Well, according to Islamic belief, according to the Quran, Allah just said, "Be," and then everything came into existence. But at the same time, the Quran also apparently, in some part, says that everything was once united and then Allah separated everything, and that apparently is a description of the Big Bang, or so. Or that's what certain people, like, for example, that guy Sheikh Uthman ibn Farouk, say, and that's very funny.
However, in Surah 41:11, as everybody knows, I'm sure, I just throw off verses here, like just out of my memory, in 41:11, Allah, Big Al, as I like to call him, says to the earth, which is already called the earth, even though it hasn't been created yet, and the smoke, he doesn't say kun, and it fire kuns, or whatever it is in Arabic. He just says, am I going to have to force you, or will you come willingly into creation? They obviously speak imperfect Arabic, or perfect Arabic. Like, they're eternal also, because they're just sitting there prior to being created. So there are two contradictory creation accounts.
Yeah.
Let's not even go into the 6 or 8 days, but that's a miracle as well, that they can both be obviously true. At the same time.
I would like to share this thing on the screen, if that is okay with you, if you give me this permission and honor.
Yeah, but how? Oh, don't do it to me. Okay,
I will have to force you to.
Settings. I got it. Wait. Guests.
Yeah. It's down there. You just have to click on it and put it on the show.
Down where? What are you talking about, child? I've no idea. Okay, general settings.
It's on StreamYard right under us. There's a thing.
Yeah. Oh, so I'm sorry. I do apologize. Okay, so this is the thing.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. So
that's the thing.
So this is the thing. It says in Quran chapter 21 verse 30 the following, according to the translation provided by Sahih International. It says, "Have those who disbelieved not considered that the heavens and the earth were a joined entity, and we separated them and made from water every living thing? Then will they not believe?" And in fact, certain Muslim apologists assert that there are two miracles in this verse. One miracle is the Big Bang, because it says that everything was a joint entity and then Allah separated everything. And the second miracle is that it says everything was made from water, and we now know today that life organisms consist mostly of water, to 60-something% or so, or more, I don't know. And these are of course obviously two miracles coming directly from the Quran, which tell us truth about the world which nobody could have known back then in the deserts of 7th century Arabia. I've just noticed that I'm not centered, sorry. And
Let me come back to you on that. 2 seconds. So the heavens and the earth, yeah, whatever that. I guess that's everything. However, every living thing. I mean, if that includes Adam and Eve, then I think there was a clot involved, or a sperm, or a piece of mud, or I don't remember it being water. To be fair, also when Adam and Eve were like just chilling, as it were, in a Jannah, the same Jannah everyone else is going to go to eventually. Didn't Allah mention like someone else running around on the earth who was gonna, I can't remember the details, who were like, they were disobedient, and I think there's one of the words in Arabic denotes that it's a non-human like pronoun when he says to Adam or Eve or both of them, basically we can just get rid of you lot and like make new ones.
Yeah.
It's a non-human it's twaddle, but yeah, so that's another, like, that's a contradiction, let alone.
Yeah, and the issue is there are two problems here, which is so when it says here, do you hear me? Is it okay?
Yeah, sorry, I said only two.
Okay. Yeah. Please stop interrupting me. It's very. I'm the prophet. I have a big privilege here in terms of
false prophet. I'm afraid.
Priority of speech.
I'll think about it.
So what's funny here is when it comes to the assertion that this Quran verse accurately describes that everything, that every living being was made from water, and that this corresponds to a discovered scientific fact that all living beings do indeed mostly consist of water, that is a very, very far fetch. We know for a fact that the Quran. Wait, I'm trying to find my issue here. What the Quran describes here is not that that Allah made the origin of everything from water, that he created everything from water, and that everything consists of water. What the Quran describes here is the creation as it is described in the Quran. As it is described is that there was only Allah in the beginning, and he was above the waters. And then, as he was above the waters, he then created the heaven and the earth as an entity, and he then separated that blob of the heaven and the earth into two separate entities, spread the earth, made it a flat ground, and made the heavens 7 levels above which he placed himself. So that's what this actually describes. In fact, we can further go into this by, I'm sorry, I'm very disorganized today. I'm like...
That's right. While you're finding that, I'm just going to point out that the heaven and the earth in Surah 41 are already separate, because they say, all right then, bro, or whatever they say. So there's 2 of them already, because it says they. So that's the one thing. The 7 heavens, and he's like plonked at the top, he has to nip down to the first one, surely, or the 7th, whichever way around he's ordered the floors. Yeah, I'm not buying it. Convince me.
Yeah. Let me get to it. So here we see in chapter 71, verse 15, for example, that the Quran says, "Do you not consider how Allah has created 7 heavens in layers, or above each other? And Allah has caused you to grow from the earth." Just a second. I am actually trying to get to that one hadith. I will get back to that. You can keep talking.
From the earth and the water, then. So the earth is pretty different to the water, and a clot is pretty different to a clump of earth, and a clump of earth is quite different to a sperm. I mean, if you don't think it is, please don't have sex, anyone. So those things aside, while you're just finding, I mean, even if modern science seems to affirm like some broad claim, if the Quran itself doesn't pick up on it, it's not a miracle of the Quran. It's a miracle that eventually all sorts of nonsense can be confirmed and maybe then disproved like by science, which is not like absolute truth. One miracle that I've got, hold on to your hats, everybody. I just can't believe this one. That in the Quran 2, so Surah 2, Ayah 233, quite a long chapter it seems. Mothers may nurse their infant for 2 years. You read it here, or you heard it here first. And apparently science, love a bit of science, I do. They've said, yeah, go on then, 2 years is all right. Like, that's optimum. And apparently that's a miracle. No one's like even stopping to think, because this is from like Dawa or, you know, like, I don't know what you call them, Islamic websites that go, oh, can you believe this? But the fact is that, what do they suppose? This isn't like Adam and Eve knowing about the 2 years of nursing. This is women of the Qurayshi, I guess, or whomever, who've had loads of ancestors, loads of women around them, potentially not even 50% of a brain, but like things get known among women, you know, just like tried and tested. There's the kids over there who you fed for a year. There's the 18-year-old over there waiting for his breastfeeding. Because, there's another point, that if it's optimum for 2 years and they're all like crowing, saying, wow, that's a Quranic miracle, like, why is Muhammad advising Aisha or her sister or whomever to continue? Like, there shouldn't be any breastfeeding or anything for grown men when you don't have any milk.
Absolutely.
Personal. Yeah.
But it's a miracle, so you have to give it that. I'm sorry.
If you define miracle as not miracle, then yeah, sure, it is.
Yeah. So let's get back to the thing that I was talking about. Because it's more interesting if I'm talking about something.
Always, just be ego. But I mean, continue.
I'm sorry for being so bad to you.
For you, yeah, it's fine. Allah made you that way. What can I do?
I just love it. So, wait, not this one. Here. I'm very sorry already. I'm like, today I'm trying to move my office, and I have been running around all morning. I forgot to eat, and it's like I'm all over the place right now. So here we see in this specific hadith, Muhammad describes how the earth was created, or how everything was created, and what was at the beginning. It's a very dumb narration from a typical 7th century Arabian perspective. They were sitting down with camels and sitting in a circle and all that. But here it says, they said, O Allah's messenger, we have come to ask you about this matter, the start of creations. He said, so in this case, he is Muhammad. He said, first of all, there was nothing but Allah, and then he created his throne. His throne was over the water. Notice the brackets here are added actually when it says then he created his throne. That's not what the text actually says. According to the text, Muhammad says, first of all, there was nothing but Allah, and his throne was over the water, and he wrote everything in the book, and then he created the heavens and the earth. So this is what the creation actually looks like according to Muhammad's very authentic description by Islamic standards. There is no doubt about this. And this is a hadith that is completely reliable by Islamic standards, that has multiple narrators that agree upon the same thing. In this, Muhammad clearly says that in the beginning, there was only Allah, and his throne was above the waters. And then, after that, while he was above the waters and while only he existed, he created the heavens and the earth. So when we go back into the Quran, we see that Allah in that verse creates the heavens and the earth and separates them. We see then that here, for example, in chapter 22, verse 65, he says, and he restrains the sky from falling upon the earth unless by his permission. So the sky refers to this ceiling which is above the earth that Allah created. We see here in chapter 22, verse 63, where it says, do you not see that Allah has sent down rain from the sky and the earth becomes green? So so we have this literal thing where the ceiling is the sky is a ceiling above us, above the earth, which Allah created and flattened and spread for us to walk on. And from above that ceiling, from above that sky, Allah also sends water down. That's how the Quran describes rainfall. Rainfall is something that happens by simply water evaporating evaporating, going up, falling down on us again through clouds. And the Quran, of course, since Muhammad and his people did not understand how any of that stuff works, explains that by saying Allah sends down water from the sky. And before any of this existed, before the earth and the ceiling existed, Allah was himself above the water. So water apparently surrounds everything. That is what this Quran verse describes. There is no hint at some Big Bang or any of that stuff at all here.
Also, call me a pedant, but yeah, if he's sitting above the water and the heavens and the earth have yet to be like forced into existence or blackmailed in or created out of thin, not air, because we're talking about the heavens, what is he sitting in? He's sitting on a throne. But if those brackets were taken out of the first one, it means the throne is a part of his body, because in the beginning was only Allah. And on his shin or on his two arms or on his throne at least was above the water. But on what would be like, is it suspended in midair? Because if it is, the air hasn't been created yet. So it's like, it can't be space either, because even without air, because we don't know where that narrative comes from. Like nothing other than the water. Well, the water is new because it's not eternal, but the smoke and the earth, I'm still arguing, are eternal, because there's no story about, not at least in the one where he's having a chit chat with them. But okay, so yeah.
So according to these narrations, Allah must have existed within a space where he, where he moves, as you pointed out. He must have existed within a space that already exists, a water that already exists. And there are deep polemics when it comes to that, which is why this is a topic that Muslim scholars generally do not want to talk about. And when people ask about these things, when doubting Muslims ask about these things, they usually dismiss these things as matters which we cannot comprehend, and that we should leave to Allah and His Messenger and whatever the message is. But yeah, it does say that Allah is above the water. Now, when it comes to the throne, that's also an issue that Muslim scholars throughout history have had discussions and indeed fights about, where some argued that the throne is co-eternal with Allah, that it exists with Allah, that it is a part of Allah, or that Allah created it for some reason, or that it is merely metaphorical to that it's metaphorical to point at his might and his majesty.
Maybe his shin was aching. Maybe he just didn't sit around. Maybe Muhammad's like, oh my gosh, yeah, it was just him. Like, I wonder what he sat on. Like, I wonder, like, if he got bored, like, yeah, Muhammad's just fabricated a little chair for him. It's quite sweet. Like, he probably wanted a throne of his own. Like, the cushions were getting boring potentially, like, because the Torah was sitting on it quite often.
You know what's very funny about this? Sorry, I just want to add one quick thing before I forget that. The whole narrative about in the Bible, God creating the world in 6 days and resting, which is kind of which sends this message, has sent the message to humans long before, during the time of the Bible, that this is what humans are supposed to do, to work and then to rest. Muslims dismiss that whole narrative because they cannot understand the symbolism in that, and they say, Allah is almighty, He doesn't need to rest. It is blasphemy to assert that He, that He rested after He created everything. But then at the same time, you also believe that Allah had a throne, and after He created everything, He went up and He placed Himself above something, and placed Himself above the throne. Like, if the whole narrative about Him symbolically resting is such a big issue to you, why is it so acceptable at the same time that He's sitting on a throne, that He goes up there? And it's very strange.
Maybe it's some sort of majesty they're trying to imply. But the thing about the creation account within Genesis is that theoretically, if one were to suppose, oh, well, maybe like they just made it up, 6,000 years ago, or whenever, that actually potentially less than that, when the actual texts were written down, we have to consider that there are many narratives that could have been more reasonable to someone who didn't have access to full knowledge. So maybe Yahweh creating like 10 women and 20 men and a little village, and like, I don't know, some means of like something other than what is actually correct scientifically, in as much as we descend backward, like eventually, I mean, science has found an Eve, as it were, I think mitochondrial Eve, and then there are like, they've got back as far as a certain amount of men, and then there was an ice age, and that sort of faffed them up. But the point is that, yeah, for them to accidentally get it right is, I'd rather that. Also, I thought he was created from the sweat of a horse that he created.
What?
There's a hadith that says that Allah created a horse. He made it to run. The horse sweated, and from the sweat, he created himself.
There's such a hadith. I don't know about that hadith.
Yeah, we made a video about it in Speaker's Corner. So, because originally we could only find it in Arabic, but then, yeah, we found it. So I don't know where the horse was behind the throne. Maybe he needed the throne to like hide the horse behind or tie the. Who knows? Who knows?
I have an issue with all the accounts of how Allah created things and what He uses. Like in the Quran verse that we talked about, where Allah, separated the heavens and the earth. You also find that afterward, you also find that He has His book with Him and He writes everything down and wrote everything down. And it's like, why is that a thing? Like, I mean,
has he got a bad memory? Maybe. I've got, like a piece of paper with my stuff written down here. But
I mean, I might understand the symbolism of referring to it as a book, but it is literally a belief that there is a book with Him in heaven that has existed from, in pre-eternity, where everything is written down, where He wrote everything down. And it just feels like that's a very strange narrative.
Is it ongoing? Is it an ongoing, like, minute by minute book? Like, is it covering everything, or is it just the creation, or is it
everything? He wrote everything from the beginning to the end, just everything written. Yeah, this moment is all written down. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm famous now. Like, I'm in the book.
I know.
Dude. I wonder what he made it from. He didn't have any parchment, did he? Or any water? He made it from water. I just remembered. I do apologize.
Yeah. So he wrote down Kay would have a live stream with Apostate Prophet, and they would talk crap about me and my book.
Mischief in the land.
Yeah, and as a result, I would punish them and all that. He wrote that all down. Yeah.
Brilliant. I got another miracle for you. I got a few, actually. Hang on a minute. I'm not going to share the screen. I'm just going to read it. But I'm considering this a miracle, to be fair. This, when my computer decides to play ball with me. Yes. So this is a miracle in as much as, if anybody knows philosophy or logic even, three contradictory statements cannot all be true at the same time. And I realize that someone at home is saying, but Allah's a deceiver. He's the greatest one. But that aside, where is Allah and His throne is like a topic of conversation or statement within the Quran. So in Surah 50, Ayah 16 rather, Allah is nearer than the jugular vein. So we're going with like nearer than that to your like heart or mind, I don't know. Also, though, in 32:5 and 70 Ayah 4, He is so far away that it takes between 1,000 and 50,000, quite specific, years to reach Him. And then the third true thing about Allah, and these are all like coinciding in the one reality paradigm. In 57:4, He is also on the throne. And let's not forget that the throne, He's always actually on the throne, even when He comes down to the lowest heaven to hear the prayers of the faithful, because He's got poor Wi-Fi.
Just really look at that hadith. I love that stupid hadith.
It's nice to have an interest.
I can look at that. I can actually put that hadith on the screen if I can open it here quickly. But it's one that I talked about before, which I think really reveals the ridiculousness of Islam and of Muhammad's understanding of the world around us and of the Islamic understanding of Allah, actually. I haven't thought about that before, but Allah comes to the lowest heaven. Lowest heaven. Where was that?
It must make his chin ache. I mean, all that, like, he doesn't have to rest, obviously, but maybe he's got like a portable throne, because he's always above the throne. He's not even on the throne because he's a go-getter. He's not sitting on his laurels or his backside, which is not deep set like the Daijao, or have you know. But yeah, like he's nipping down. And it's nighttime, like somewhere on the planet at all times. So he's nipping down of an evening, which means he's never really up again because he's just constantly following the timeline around, I guess.
I know that's the thing. That's the issue.
Another miracle. I mean, who knew? Once we started, we just literally.
Where is that? Damn. Okay, I have to quickly find that.
No problem. I'm just going to say to everybody in the chat, who is organised potentially, can you please, any questions? If you, I don't know if my bot's going to allow you to. It might do. If you type question in capital letters and don't get your comment removed by the fascist bot, then like stick the question. And then for the last like maybe 10 minutes, I'll just hammer him, basically destroy him with your questions, etc. The thing about a rooster. Oh, I have a bot that doesn't like capital letters. Like if someone starts shouting metaphorically, they just get like a.
That sounds good.
But they start having little, no, how am I going to say it? Pissing contests with the bot, basically. They start typing in capitals, trying to psych the bot out.
Yeah.
He still deletes them. Pretty extremist like that.
Yeah.
Did you find?
Yeah, I found it in a different source than the one that I was actually looking at. But yeah, I have it here. Let me bring this up on the screen. Now, here is a hadith that I think really shows how shallow and how dumb the understanding of the heavens and the earth and of science and of God in Islam is. Do you have it on the screen?
Yes.
Okay, so here's Sahih Muslim, book 4, number 1657. This is only one example. There are multiple of these hadith that basically convey the same thing. Here it says, Abu Hurairah reported Allah's messenger as saying, Allah descends every night to the lowest heaven when 1/3 of the first part of the night is over and says, I am the Lord, who is there to supplicate me so that I answer him, who is there to beg of me so that I grant him, who is there to beg forgiveness from me so that I forgive him. He continues like this till the day breaks.
I didn't know that one. God, he must be, well, not God, but he must be so bored. Like vain repetition, Christians are told to like avoid that, like Allah. But I mean, like what, he comes down every night with the same lyrics, like he's just nipping down in the first part of the third part of the second part of the 7 of the evening. But then surely in the next village across or the next continent, whatever, it's still what is it? 1/3 of the first part of the night, and everybody knows what the first part of the night is. I mean, don't clarify or anything, Abu Hurairah. I mean, that would just be ridiculous.
But there are two big issues here. Like one is why in the world is Allah descending every night to the lowest heaven so that he can listen to our prayers and look and be like, hey, who's gonna pray for me? Who's gonna pray to me? Whom can I forgive? Please pray and let me forgive you. Why is he doing that every night? Why does he have to come down physically? Where exactly does Allah physically come down? And this is a very authentic hadith. There is very little that you can contest about this. But the major issue is actually not the obvious, which is why does he need to come down? The major issue here is what night exactly? What night are we talking about here? I mean, there is no. But there is no night. There is no part of the night. There is no third of the night. And if you look at the worlds, the real world that we have, this round, this spheric Earth that we have, which is constantly spinning, which is why day and night happen, or what happens, what we call day and night, because one part of the Earth looks at the sun, the other doesn't. And technically, it is always night and always day somewhere on the Earth, because one part of the Earth is always visible to the sun. So there is technically no night or no day. There is technically no third of the night. It is always day and always night. Night and day is only from our perspective.
Let me just clarify. Are you saying that the sun does not set in a muddy pool? Can you just say it outright for everybody to hear your blasphemous nonsense?
I know this is problematic. I know this is controversial. I know I will get a lot of hate for this. But the sun does not set in a muddy spring.
Stop this stream. I can't take it. I can't. Well, you're saying the sun doesn't rise or set. It's because we are rotating as we go around, and the moon.
Yes.
Wow, you heard it here. Well, not first, but second.
The sun does not, as Muhammad said, the sun does not go somewhere to its resting place at sunset to pray to Allah and ask for permission to come back in the morning and rise again. It does not happen. I'm sorry to say this. I'm sorry to disappoint everybody, but that does not.
You don't look sorry. So.
I look sorry inside. Yeah, what the sun does is it is right there, and we are revolving around it, and we are spinning, which is why those things that we call day and night happen. And in the face of these brutally shocking truths that I have just revealed to the world, how exactly, when exactly is that night, or 1/3 of the night, where Allah comes down to the lowest heaven? How exactly does that happen?
I reckon it's about 8 p.m. Just because I believe that potentially 6 p.m. is the beginning of the night, and midnight is obviously the end of the night, because then it's the morning again. So I reckon potentially he's saying, I nip down every night about 8 o'clock after maybe his last cup of tea for the evening. He doesn't want to be up and down for the toilet because he's up and down for the weird statements. And apart from that, I know this is English, and like I've only been learning Arabic for 20 minutes or not long. But the fact that he says over and over, I am the Lord, if there was just a comma there, for Christians, that would be him saying Yahweh, God. Like not I am Yahweh, but just he's nipped down to do a proper prayer because he's sitting up there on his throne all on his own because there's no triunity, just thinking, oh no, what have I done? I've made out to be God. Oh no, they're going to find me out. Oh, look at me shin, it's hurting. Ow. Like, potentially...
It's so funny. What Allah is technically doing is what He's basically doing. If we compare this to our own context, is me just going into a room and thinking about other people and speaking to myself and saying, "I am the Lord. I am the Lord. I am the Lord. Who's going to pray? Who's going to pray?"
Why are you giving to this? What do you mean, like when you do? You do. I know you do. I am the prophet. I am becoming what's name.
Why is Allah doing this? He's such a weirdo, isn't he? Like
that's exactly, you've answered your own question. The fact that he wants people to beg him, like it's very humanistic. Like it's very Mohammedy. If Muhammad's a real dude, like why is he asking rhetorical questions when nobody can hear him for a start, other than maybe I don't know, like jinn and angels or. How come there's no angel nipping down with him to answer him every night? Because they must be getting pretty bored of the empty throne unless he brings it with him. Oh, you could go on for ages. I got another one because we've...
Wait, so I quickly want to say this. It is soon where you live in the UK. It's soon the first part of the night. So Allah will soon descend.
5 minutes ago, he's gone. I was listening, but I didn't hear anyone. If I was to walk out at 8 p.m. and heard that bit, it still wouldn't mean anything because he said it in Arabic.
Yeah, and he descended there.
He goes on all night until the morning.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I've just checked. No, he's not.
And at the same time, while he comes at the beginning of the night there to you and stays until morning, he also comes here in America at the beginning of the night and stays till morning, and also in Australia at the beginning of the night and stays till morning. Also in Iceland and in Africa, he's always everywhere coming down at the beginning of the night.
Yeah, within Europe, so we've got places that are 2 hours in front. So it's 8 p.m. here. It's already 10 p.m. So he's already been over there 2 hours. He's getting a bit like hoarse and that. And then he's like, even though he can't enter creation, let's not forget that part. But he does enter creation, but he can't enter creation, but he does, but he can't. So that's not contradictory. But yeah, I mean, bless him.
This is actually a logical miracle. What this means is that Allah is constantly down here.
Rubbish. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, talking rubbish, constantly here, praising himself and listening to us. And he's also at the same time above the heavens on his throne. That's actually what this means. Stop looking for mistakes in the narrative of Islam. Yeah.
Oh, sorry then. Too late. But who is there to beg forgiveness from me, he says. And then he says it in who is there to supplicate and who is there to whatever. But the point is that he's guided that if he hasn't guided them into begging him or misguiding them into not begging him, it's a bit of a setup, I reckon. Like it's all predestined. So why is he hanging around various continents for 4 hours at a go? Anyway, I don't really get it. Right, I got one for you. Quran 20. It's very tiny writing, and I don't have my glasses, but Quran 20, 133. And they say, why does he not bring a sign from his Lord? Has there not come to them evidence of what was in the former scripture? So one, that's like declarative, even though it's in questioning form as to why has he got no miracles? This Muhammad dude, like, why doesn't he just bring a sign? I.e., don't really believe him at this point. Like, why doesn't he just clinch the deal and show us like a big flood or some lightning or whatever? And then the other one, 41, which is the same one in which the earth and the smoke are just hanging, chilling in eternity before they go, oh, go on then. They don't even give Allah any special names like, oh, most gracious, what's name? They just go, all right. Anyway, 41:53. We will show them our signs in the horizons and within themselves. So just in case you're wondering, not in the Quran, not in any real sense, as in a real-time miracle. We'll just show them in themselves, like maybe between the ribs and the backbone, I'm not sure. And on the horizon, i.e. too far to examine it scientifically or with any kind of critical reasoning. But is it not sufficient? This is what you've got to ask yourself. This is what he's asking. Is it not sufficient concerning your Lord, i.e. Al, that he is over all things a witness? I mean, isn't it sufficient? Isn't it just sufficient? Don't keep worrying about miracles, disbeliever. And isn't it just, he's a witness to some miracles. He was there, bruv. He saw it go down. And he's telling you so.
It also says, I don't know if you brought this up or if you have that, and it also says in the Quran repeatedly that even if we did show them signs, they would not believe. So that is the response basically to
even when we guide them to disbelief.
When they say to Muhammad, so if you are from this God, from this Allah, then why don't you show us some miracles or something? And the Quran then goes, even if we did show them miracles, they would not believe. So don't bother.
Yeah. Exactly. Or just go and talk to the Christians, or the Jews. Go to the even though evidence of what was in the former scripture. So he's saying, I can't right now. I've been up all night chanting in India between 8 and 12 a.m. Also Iceland. So can't you just come read the book when I was less busy, when I had a system of legal atonements and or substitutionary atonement? Get on that, because there's loads of miracles over there. But at the minute, a shin. Come on, 2 right hands. What do you want, Pete? That sort of thing. Seems legit, I must say.
It is. I want to bring up that thing that we have been bringing up here, which is that Allah guides and misguides whom He wills. It's actually very funny. It says right here in the Quran in chapter 4, verse 14. It says the following. It says. And we did not send any messenger except in the language of his people to state clearly for them. So, he sent Muhammad, of course, in the Arabic language to speak to him, to you and me. Why?
No, don't be silly. There's 124,000 other dudes who came before him because he's the last.
Yeah.
There was an Icelandic one, a Japanese one. there was like a London dialect, I reckon. I don't know, like Celtic, Turkish. There was like Cypriot, if there's any distinction. There was Greek. There was French. All of them nipped in before Muhammad, even though Muhammad was bringing a new revelation. They all got in early to avoid the rush. The 50 in the Bible, they're having them. They're going, yeah, they're our boys. But then the other 123,049, because Muhammad's like, we're still waiting for verification.
Yeah. But yeah, so and then it says, and Allah sends thereby astray. Like Allah sends astray whom He wills and guides whom He wills, and He is the exalted in might, the wise. And this is a part of many Quran verses which basically say the same thing, which is that it is Allah who guides into belief whom He wills and misguides whom He wills. So it also says in different verses, it says, speaking to Muhammad, supposedly, even if you did want them to believe, they would not believe, because people only believe or disbelieve if Allah wants them to believe or disbelieve. So if I was born as a Muslim and I eventually ended up disbelieving because I could not believe in this anymore, then that was devised, planned, written by Allah. It was His decision. He sent me astray. And although I really wanted to be guided, I really wanted to be guided to the truth, but He didn't do it. He sent me astray. So that's all His fault. It's also thereby His fault that I'm sitting here today with you and saying all these bad things about Allah. That's all His plan. Great job, Allah.
Yeah, well, I mean, you wouldn't have got to know me. That's obviously like where He's guiding you, because hashtag Jesus. However, further to that verse, He also says in another place He guides who He guides, and yada yada, misguides who He misguides. And then He talks probably to Muhammad, I guess, but He says, and do not try to guide who I have misguided, because it's not going to work. Is the kind of vibe. So dawah, like, what's the point in that? What's the point in trying to guide those who Allah has clearly misguided? Because they wouldn't be standing in front of your dawah stall if they weren't misguided in the first place, if you see what I mean.
This is actually a big issue that Islamic theology was plagued with within the first centuries. Especially, I mean, the 7th century Arabian desert was completely backward. There was no proper intelligent thought. People didn't think very much about these things. Muhammad probably came up with these verses impulsively because people did not believe him, and he was like, "Why don't they believe me?" And then he just was like, and then he just made up these Quran verses which were like, "Oh, they don't believe because Allah doesn't want them to believe. Otherwise, they would believe, because this is fantastic." But then this whole theology reached other environments where people had been philosophizing for centuries, and there this whole thing caused a problem, and an Islamic division happened between those who believe in complete free will and those who believe in complete predetermination, and those who have different theories in between all that. And they condemned each other, came up with different theologies, agreed on the idea that there is both predetermination and free will, but they have still never solved this problem, and they will not debate about this issue.
Yeah, I just did a uni assignment on literally that. I think I did say I'd send it to you, and you started hiding, or you just didn't answer me for a change. But yeah, I just did. Can free will and determinism be compatible? And I'm guessing they wanted me to say yes, because otherwise there's no 1,500 words involved. You just go no. And it was predestined. But anyway, but yeah, I'll send you it. There is there's like a get out. There's a kind of way around.
Yeah.
But, I noticed that in the chat, there's quite a few people. Well, maybe it's the same person, and I've got no glasses on, but would quite like you to speak maybe about the Taliban.
The Taliban.
Okay, Taliban AB. So whether we've joined without knowing, or
well, what's wrong with the Taliban? I don't know what to say about.
How long you got, bro? Like, I thought you. What I would say is that for all, I would just love it on a massive scale if all of the at least the English speaking Dawahists who have now like like real cowardly kind of, like there's some big bully in town and they want to try and be friends with them in case they like turn on them. So now they're all saying how much they, there's nothing wrong with this system of governance and their strict adherence in the past. Like they're just trying to make it, whilst they sit in their pretty cozy Western like society. So at any time, if they're willing to nip over for a visit, like, I'd make a few phone calls and try and facilitate.
Yeah. Well, the issue with the Taliban is it goes way back. I actually I noticed that I did not care enough about the Taliban in the past and about their ideology in the past. So as this whole thing was happening, as this whole change of power, transfer of power was happening in Afghanistan, I decided to sit down and to do all that and to inform myself about it. I started reading a book by one of the forefathers of this whole ideology that they're following. I'm very much into that. It's actually very interesting how messed up their ideas are. But looked into the ideology which the Taliban follows, which is the Deobandi school of Sunni Islam, and looked into their history. And what happens with the Taliban is they were one of many groups in Afghanistan when Afghanistan was under the influence of the Soviets. They were one of many groups that were jihadi groups which wanted to establish an Islamic state, an Islamic governance. And the foul thing here is that America did fund many of these groups and did personally go and visit them and did encourage them to fight, to take back their land from the Soviets. Pakistan funded them. Pakistan established those organizations. And among those organizations, some wanted to establish a state that is a modern state, a modern republic with Islamic values, just like Pakistan. Pakistan is an Islamic republic. But the Taliban was completely against that. Their view was, no, we don't want any of this modern stuff. What we want is to establish a state in which we live just the way Muhammad lived 1,400 years ago. And we don't want any modernity. We don't want any new practices, any foreign influence, any republic and all that. We want to establish an Islamic emirate. So they took power, they did that, and their initial promise was that they would topple the current governments which are under foreign influence, and then they would establish an Islamic state, and then give the power to forces that are suitable to lead this Islamic state. But of course, they didn't keep their promise. After they took over, they decided to instead sit on that throne and to rule the country by themselves, and started implementing extremely aggressive, extremely brutal policies and rules upon their own population, including the oppression and mass killing of minorities, like the Shia Muslims, for example. They killed thousands of them, according to different reports. They made extremely brutal laws regarding women, regarding dissenters, and all that. And they were even attempting to install further things, such as that different minorities within the country should wear badges and identifiers to show from what kind of background they come. Like
Yehudi, you mean?
Yeah,
like Nazi.
Like what they wanted, because there was a significant Hindu minority population. They wanted Hindus to wear a badge which identifies them as Hindus, and of course, this immediately reminds you of Nazi Germany, where Jews wore stars that said Jew. But this goes indeed very far back to Muslim times, to a Muslim caliphate, Omar II, I believe, who was one of the later rulers, not the first Omar, but an Omar later within the caliphates, after the first caliphates. They actually made it a law within the first Islamic empires that people of different religions should wear specific clothing, should wear specific colors, which make it clear that they belong to certain religions. And Christians would wear specific colors, and Jews would wear specific colors. And there are even theories that the Nazis were inspired by this history, by those practices. Of course, that's arguable. But the Taliban wanted to implement these things. They were of course, as a result of all their terrorism, as a result of working with Al Qaeda, of hosting Osama bin Laden and all that, they were removed. Now they are back. They want to supposedly bring better things, better times, want to treat people better. That's what they say. People shouldn't be worried. Nobody should be scared. But of course, they want to, again, implement full Islamic laws. And they will soon start their operations again. They have already started.
They already have, yeah. I think the thing to remember is they lied before. Shocker. And I couldn't believe it either. Like they
Very
went
obviously.
back on the word. I mean, politicians as well, like they never do that. So to just say this is all a load of old codswallop, like what they're saying now, like quite rightly, like I thought it immediately, to be fair, but you did a vid on it where they said they promised to protect women's rights within an Islamic framework, but they have to find a single solitary woman's right to uphold. They're not going to create any. So it's just, it's double speak. It's not even lies at that point because, you know, they quite likely have a little look-see and, oh, we haven't got any. Never mind, girls, just crack on. Like, oh, by the way, come home quickly because we can't go to work. And defacing like images of women in public, etc. Somebody in the chat just asked me, how do I feel that the UK will protect Afghan ex-Muslims, I think, because now the comment's gone. The short answer is I don't necessarily think we will. I think we have already said that we're unable to take children whose parents aren't accompanying them. The scenes that I've seen, the people who died in stampedes, I mean, it's not the sign of a populace that are overly happy with the new regime. It's not really a good PR look that, you know, there was one girl I read like a brief interview with her and she could speak like English very well. She'd helped other people to get through. However, she didn't have the correct visa or the correct get out of jail free card or whatever it is they're going with now. And so potentially she's going to be forced to not retreat, but to turn around and go back towards where the Taliban are just openly beating people and, you know, summarily executing people basically. And that's not to mention, just the kerfuffle and the misadministration and the Dominic Raab and politics is not like, I think that, you know, I think prayer is the, like, obviously you can just roll your eyes in a minute on cue, but I think that there are waiting for governments to help people is potentially a long wait. However, the UK will take over the next X amount of years, a certain, I think, I'm sure I read 20,000, could be more, refugees from Afghanistan. But what I would, it sounds pretty callous. I would try to nip it in the bud, like remove the head from the snake, as it were, because we've already been through this whole cycle. Fair enough, America facilitated the Islamization and the yada yada because of Russia and the Soviets, and it was all very dramatic and really important because it's America and Russia, and it is like basically the the theme of the Rocky movie, one of them anyway. Like, so I mean, whatever you think about that, we are where we are. And if not now, when are we going to sort this out? And when I say we, I just mean like rational, decent people, not necessarily politicians. But, you know, whilst there remain in Afghanistan people who are unhappy enough to risk their lives and to throw babies over barbed wire, trying to get them to Western military. And while Biden is saying, maybe now we're going to leave some guys in there just for shits and giggles. I don't know why, because he talks little sense. I think that the answer is not to like some big diaspora of Afghanis all over the world, because why should they lose their homeland? Because some cut-rate ISIS have decided they're going to try and play PR. But enough about that. And also, while we're at it, Nigeria, like genocide, #1 place in the world to be killed just for going, I love Jesus. Like, that's enough. That is it. And no one's flinging open the doors for them, or, you know, there's no mass media coverage of any of the genocide of Christians. Not that it matters to me. And mostly the Christian, I'm going to shut up in a minute. The Christians in Afghanistan are mainly ex-Muslims. So they're just like, they've got them coming and going. They're in trouble either way. And meanwhile,
Well, Nigeria is in Africa, and nobody cares about Africa. So
the untapped minerals in Afghanistan. Oh no, what are we all going to do? Like, it's just so cynical.
Yeah,
but yeah, so that's my answer. Even
well,
though
there was a thing. I mean, the Taliban, of course, as soon as they took over, they started spreading a few messages, a few footages in which they apparently reassure the women of Afghanistan and the population of Afghanistan and say, hey, you guys have nothing to worry about. We forgive everybody. Go to your homes, go to your work, and all that. And of course, very, very nice moves, very nice image that they presented there. Let's just forget about decades of atrocities. Let's forget about mass killings. Let's forget about beating women in public, executing people in public for things as simple as spraying a perfume on yourself. Let's just forget about all of that. Let's just believe them when they come in and say, hey guys, we care about you. We forgive you. We will not do any bad things. They will do bad things. I mean, the Taliban will mismanage Afghanistan. They don't know how to manage a country. They are people who lived in caves for decades. They have a strict certain ideology. One thing that needs to be pointed out is we sometimes say that the Taliban is real Islam, for example, that they're close to real Islam. But there is actually more to this, if we want to be fair and if we want to be more detailed, which is that the Taliban makes sure that they practice Islam fully and that they implement Islam fully. But there is no denying the fact that the Taliban also adheres to a specific school of thought and a specific movement called the Deobandi movement, which originated in India and spread to Pakistan and Afghanistan. And the Taliban has a very strict ideology, which consists of uniting that Deobandi ideology, which is a very fundamentalist and mainly intolerant one, with their own strictly traditional values in Afghanistan. And what they have always believed in, or what they have always preached, is that under Islam, women are basically slaves, and minorities are not supposed to exist. So when they say the rights of women and the rights of others will be protected within the limits of Islam, what we have to consider is that it is both within the limits of Islam, which does not sound good to all those who know about Islam. And on top of that, it is within their own interpretation and their own ideology of Islam, which is very strict, very fundamentalistic, very barbaric, very brutal. And I mean, in the face of all of this, I don't have much hope. We'll just have to watch and see what happens. I believe soon it will all start going downhill very quickly. And yeah, that's what I can say about that.
For any reassurances that, for one, like if you've just joined the planet, politicians lie, like people in positions of power lie, regardless of taqiyya, they just lie. Like it's what they do. They professionally lie, like a solicitor or a barrister or I don't know what you call them, advocate, a legal advocate, whatever it is. They're just lying for money. Like that's their job, to defend the alleged innocence of somebody, even though they may know that they're not. And for like the Taliban now want to go into PR. However, they're restricted somewhat by the fact that their past record shows that they've no care whatsoever for human life, especially even Islamic human life, because they don't know who Allah's going to guide and misguide and blah, blah. I don't think they believe half of it, to be fair, although they do wear silly outfits. But I mean, I think potentially it's the lust for power and sadism and just the usual, like throughout history, as to why people seize power and maintain it. And I think the ideology is just a good excuse to subjugate people and have people like summarily executed for wearing a skirt, for example, or like showing an eyelid, which is, we can all agree, outrageous. Not the skirt, the punishment. But yes, so any other questions? Somebody commented, Islam is the truth. I love a bit of comedy. I really do like a laugh sometimes.
The Taliban has this little thing as well when it comes to killing other Muslims. Just a very quick comment. They abide by this certain idea which originated over the last centuries, but which was amplified by certain scholars within the last 100 years as well, which is that since there is no real Islamic population, a real Islamic society in existence, meaning an Islamic society that is led by proper Islamic values and an Islamic caliphate, that means that an Islamic society and therefore an Islamic population technically does not exist. And those Muslim populations, which we call Muslim populations, are by definition Jahiliyyah, so people of ignorance, people who are not officially aligned with Islam, and therefore they can be freely attacked and killed if they are in opposition to the Taliban or to other groups. Like, this is their ideology, and with that logic, with that logic in mind, they can relentlessly simply kill other fellow Muslims, which is why they have been doing that forever, and they will probably continue doing that.
However, if they're going by any sort of scriptural, basis, the fact is that Christians, or those who follow Isa, even more specifically, because I don't know those people, but allegedly Christians are going to be made superior until the Day of Judgment. There's proper Sahih, genuine, authentic, and at which point Big Al is just going to sort our little squabbles out between us. I can't wait. It's going to be hilarious having a shin trying to tell me about Catholicism, for example. However, if it's a serious topic, if these big beardy blokes who are running around killing people and taking over countries, when Biden said, no way, dude, they're not taking over, 20 minutes ago, then, or just before it happened, they had a timer. Either way, if they believe the bit that says fight the unbeliever, fight those, and fight to kill, by the way, more specifically, the Arabic term, there's another fight that could have been, fight for your right to party or whatever. But the point is that if they believe that the Christians, for example, are going to be made superior until judgment, what are they doing running around killing people for being Christian? Because surely they're just, Allah's guided them into the, I don't know, the nonsense talk, or the right path, or the what's name.
Well, Allah miscalculated things. He made a mistake.
No. How dare you, sir? How dare you?
Allah tends to sometimes make mistakes and miscommunicate things. It's they are aware.
I like when Mary said to Muhammad, you can have any chick you like. Don't worry about if they're married. Don't worry about it. And then when the cripples and the elderly and the sort of kind of ugly girls started queuing up, Muhammad was like, hold on, I'm getting another message. Allah said, can you not bother me around about tea time? And can you just chill out, ladies? Or whatever the message was, because the all-knowing God who's outside of everything didn't foresee the queues and they were getting in the way of the sheep.
That's what Allah did before He created everything. Long before He created everything,
He wrote it in His book.
He wrote down in His book, people will come to my dear Prophet Muhammad, and then I will quickly say, hey, stop bothering my Prophet Muhammad. And then that's what He wrote down, and that's what it is.
It's like a plot twist. If we could all, every time a new hadith comes to light that contradicts anything, if we could all just scream plot twist and then just follow the rabbit trail, that would be great.
Yeah.
And if we could all pray for AP as well, that's obviously not what his mum calls him, but God knows his name already. So,
it is actually what my mum calls me.
Chat.
My mom calls me AP.
Shush. What does it stand for in her mind?
I don't know.
I can't speak Turkish, otherwise I'll say something hilarious. But that is a cute Labradoodle.
It is. It's
a giant Labradoodle.
He's a very sweet dog.
He's kind of chilled as well. He's not even the Labrador is weak in that one. The doodle is maybe because Labradors are just bouncing all over.
He can't leave me alone. He has to come on my.
Obviously, even though you've got a small sausage in your hand, just trying to lure him across. Right. Any questions for the dog or AP or me? There was one. To be fair, I did see your comment. Somebody asked, "Is Surah 590 and Surah 1667 contradictions?" I'm going to go with yes, even though I haven't seen them.
I agree.
Just on a feeling. But if you stick it in the comment section, whoever that was, I do apologize for not having your name. I will look into it. So yeah, right. Any other questions that cannot wait?
Let me ask a question to my dog here. So what do you think about Muhammad telling people that dogs can be killed or should be killed?
Look at the eyes that he just gave you. Literally, that was the answer.
What do you think about that? What do you think about Muhammad killing dogs?
It's like those little animal bits where they tell them they're adopted and they're like that. Okay, there's somebody called Rashid who's trying to get you on Twitter. However, I would just tell.
Brother Rashid, that's he's an Arabic speaking guy who has his own channel, TV channel and stuff. So,
well, he's trying to reach you on Twitter. So can you sort of pull your finger out, because you still haven't even accepted me on Skype? I mean, this get you exactly. It's a London saying. It means hurry, darling. Something like that. Yeah, we like code. So yeah, last questions, and then I don't know. AP's like playing with a dog, which is basically his level of interest in this. Yeah, black dogs especially. Although I'm going to go out on a limb. Terry Pratchett, who's not a prophet of the Lord, but is like one of my favorite authors, he's passed away now. He said, never trust a dog with orange eyebrows. You're welcome. So that's exactly. I'd go with that rather than kill dogs, especially the black ones. I think it's quite similar. Well, no, because I think not Terry Pratchett. I think Muhammad, if he existed, like reality be upon him, was a bandit, and therefore the dogs were guarding the caravans. And maybe he was just more scared in the night time of coming across a black dog, because obviously you won't trip over it before it rips your jugular out. So that's my thing. Yeah, doggies are the way forward. They wouldn't have all this nonsense, like if they could speak. But yeah. Okay, so Jabril, somebody's saying you're a bit of a puss and you're scared of Jibs, Jabril, and that's why you got a dog. And I'm asking, do you have a picture as well, just to like complete the set?
I do. I'm really happy here because I mean, I don't have any angels coming to my house.
Exactly, it's so inconvenient.
Yeah. He's not very good at keeping people out of the house, but he keeps angels out, and I just love it.
There you go. Especially the ones who are weighing up your deeds, because is it written in the book? What's the point in writing it in the book if you're sending a dude with wings to double check, and if he can't get in because of the belt or the pictures, there's my picture, or I can't even keep track of the nonsense. Yeah, he hasn't written it down. You're getting there with a clean slate. If you go from birth to death with a bell, a dog, and a picture, carrying them around at all times. Anyone who believes fairy stories.
My house is clean.
Yeah, Muhammad was afraid. Marianne.
Yeah.
Dogs are so loyal and cute, and the opposite of Muhammad. I'd rather have a dog, but I don't have to make the choice. But yeah, it's such a shame. Right, further questions, comments, or what's names? Otherwise, I want to let the man go. I've taken him hostage. However, he still has the rest of the day to deal with, and I've got the evening. So somebody is saying whatever's on the screen any minute now. It's not working. Oh, yes, it is. That the biggest trick the devil pulled was trying to convince the world he never existed. J. Smith, capital letters. That's not Satan. Or, J. Smith wrong about the existence of Muhammad. Oh, I see where you're going with that, Harriel. I understand. So Harriel is commenting that Jay's academic position, is that Muhammad didn't exist. However, Satan is known for convincing people of his non-existence in order to, I don't know, to do his thing, whatever he does.
Yeah, I find it very unlikely that Muhammad never existed.
It's a thought.
Yeah. Sorry, I just.
Yeah, but that's because you got suckered into it for so long. No, that's why. That's why you don't believe it, because that makes you even more of a sucker for buying it in the first place.
Yeah.
I understand the psychology of it. That's why you're vaguely anti-God, because a fake one got you hook, line, and sinker, bro. You was in there, darwering it up, not drinking alcohol, nothing, no bacon sarnies, the whole nine. But yeah, we're getting in there. We're getting in there, peeps.
Yeah, well, I already accept that I built my whole life on Islam and Allah, which was all just nonsense. So
bit of a downer now when you look back. Yeah. It's all right. You got ages to cause a scene over there, like destroy Islam, as it were, and the rest of the time, I mean, just find the real God, sort it out. I'll start sending you verses. Yeah, just try and destroy me on Christianity one day. Come on, you want to destroy me or something like that.
No.
Capital letters, it has to be as well.
No. I have already found the real God.
Too soft to even have even.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, he's on board. That crucifix was not ironic in the beginning. He's on board, Peeps. Don't worry. He doesn't know it yet, maybe. But
I guess people have already seen it in the beginning.
With regards,
So this is what was here in the beginning, and I couldn't hide it in time. But now I'll just put it away and pretend it never happened.
Well, until the time comes. But so IslamicStateWatch.com says any update on police finding Hatton's attacker. I'm going to give everybody a couple of seconds to guess. Sorry, Basil. I'll get back to that. Yeah, it's a no from Plod. It's ridiculous because the amount of funds and the breadth, as it were, they had counter-terrorism people like heading it. There is quite a big allegedly search, but unless I'm very much mistaken, I believe I'd have had an update, and I haven't.
You guys are such a useless police. The UK has such a useless, ridiculous police force. I'm sorry, no offense to the police officers, no offense to people who work in all that, but I guess they are
taxes for them.
I guess they are restricted by certain standards, by certain policies and politics, but it's just such a ridiculously useless police force when it comes to protecting their own people from stuff like ideological terrorism and threats and all that. It's so absurd to me. I don't understand it at all. It's like your own security forces, your own authorities, your own police is not able to protect you from very obvious threats.
That's not correct, because if it's not ineptitude, it's not an inability rather, because if, and I guarantee you this, if it had, I know I can't do an inductive argument because it didn't happen, but if it had been a Muslima, all the better if she was in a niqab. If anyone, including another Muslim, to be fair, had swung a massive blade towards her face in a public place and caught on camera, the guy would already be like convicted, eating prison food. Like that would be a done deal. It would have happened. Like,
on top of that, it would be all over mainstream media. It would be the big thing.
We had a girl have a hijab, like some dude, like it was caught on security camera. He just ripped off her headscarf and maybe he punched her. I can't remember. There's a couple, like 2 cases that I know of. And there was, people were clutching their pearls. They were lifting up their skirts like in Tom and Jerry, like just the outright, like so, like as if it's not just an item of clothing, like to be fair. Like he didn't lift her skirt up. Well, I'm not justifying it. What I'm saying is let's all stop panicking now. Like it's not a crime against humanity to... You know what I mean? Like, whereas trying to stab someone in the face and kill them, I'm going to go with yes, that is. Doesn't matter the religion. Like, yeah, the police are tied by, the fear of being seen as racist is a massive one. If you remember the Rotherham grooming shenanigans. So, yeah, it's a sad state of affairs. But rest assured, if it had been a Muslim girl, it would have been a different thing.
Wasn't there a guy a few years back? There was this one guy from somewhere in the UK, I don't know, who made it into the media because all he did was apparently he went into some public Muslim prayer house or something like that, or at the airport or somewhere, I don't know, and he went in there and he made this little joke. He pretended to pray and did like, "Oh Allah, take me, I'm flying to you," or
The
something like that.
Macarena, basically.
And then he was arrested, or he was taken into custody for that, or something like that. I don't know, but simply for just doing that. I don't know. Maybe I'm remembering parts of that wrong. Maybe they took him into custody because he received death threats and the police wanted to protect him.
For his own protection,
But he did get in big trouble because he made such a video. And
we have someone currently, I don't know if they're out yet, but we had someone at least in prison for, I think they put a slice of ham on the handle of a mosque, like the door handle. Like there was something to do with pork. It was bacon or ham. So a foodstuff, horrified shock everyone. A piece of food was put onto a door handle outside, like on the, periphery of a religious establishment. And the man is serving prison time. I mean, we've got rapists running about. We've got attempted murderers, casually sauntering around. But yeah, he put a slice of ham. It's true. We avoided the death penalty because, of course, we don't have that anymore. But I'm hopefully he's jolly sorry and he's learned his lesson. And next time he won't. Like maybe you'll just post it next time, to be fair, and not be there in person on the cameras. But
don't put bacon on the door don't put bacon on the door. It's a crime against humanity.
Eat it. Don't put it on the door. Put it in a sandwich. Put it on a doorstop like a piece of bread. Anyway, the point is that we seem to be very overly sensitive, just veering in one direction for one certain demographic. Because I often single out 1 billion plus Muslims. I know you do too. I mean, the bullying is just shocking. I mean, I think you should be ashamed of yourself, quite frankly.
I am, yeah.
No way. I don't. Somebody just told me that guy was killed, but I really hope that's untrue. That laugh was nervous. I'll look into that. If that is the case, I'm going to make a video on that with some bacon and a door handle potentially. But bacon is nice, Amanda. Well done. Like truth in the comments. Yeah, I know we've had people attack in our young offenders, Feltham, for young men. They put I think they put someone who had a swastika tattooed on their forehead, which is always a giveaway, and a Muslim in the same cell, like locked them in against safeguarding protocol. And I think there was a murder or an attempted murder. So yeah, Bart is saying it is true he was killed. I'm going to look into that because that's a shocking dereliction of duty just by the government. For one, convicting him, and for two, allowing him, because similar to Tommy Robinson, just locking people up with like your natural enemies, as it were, or people who wish to do you harm. More specifically, is dereliction.
I don't understand. The neo-Nazis and the Islamists have a lot in common. I don't understand.
They do. But then so do LGBT people who are always marching along. I won't say screaming, like sashaying along. I do apologize. And I don't know, like bigging up, Muslim rights and no to Islamophobia. It's just so ironic, like that they could potentially have the time to shout that as they're going from the roof to the floor. But I don't know if they'll, maybe they could sort the Taliban out, just the dress sense, maybe just trim up the beards.
But I find so funny. I've seen a few people, I don't know, white guys or white women mostly, usually from America or from somewhere else, who seriously, even after this whole Taliban takeover, did say things like, we should not judge, we misunderstand, this is misrepresentation. Or some of them went and said the Taliban does not represent Islam. And we're talking about, and this is said by people who are not Muslims, who are some regular liberal left-leaning white people from America or from the UK or Sweden, wherever it is. And they tell us things like, hey, guys, don't judge, don't be racist again. The Taliban does not represent Islam. And I thought to myself, I thought to myself, it would be amazing if I would love to organize a debate between that white woman who says the Taliban has nothing to do with Islam, and an Islamist like Mohammed Hijab or like Daniel Ikikuchu. I would love to organize a debate between them about does Islam have anything to do with this or not. I would love them to debate. Who would
tell the truth.
Yeah. I would love to. I would love that. It would be amazing. I should go. Okay, I should go.
Thing is, there's like a professional. I know. Yeah, I'm just going to end on this. I guess there's like there's a class of people, or I don't know what they are, but they're liberal and they feel guilty, and there's some post-colonial stuff. And the fact that they say racism in the same breath, I don't know whether they mean that against Afghanis, because of course Islam isn't a race, and if it was a race, Muhammad would have been like second through the finish line. It's just pathetic, and Allah's only running on one shin. So I mean, let's not throw out race too quickly. But who does represent? Somebody is asking me who does represent Islam. If none of the people, surely it can't be some old guy who no one's heard of sitting in his living room doing his 5 thingies and his what's name and blowing his nose to get Satan out in the morning and checking his ears for urine. I mean, can't be that guy. So it's got to be Boko Haram or ISWAB or Al Qaeda or Al Shabaab or any of the owls, basically, or the ISs. But
you know what? I represent Islam. I take this burden. I represent.
You kept that quiet. I thought you were going for the papacy.
No. Oh yeah.
But I can't keep up with your delusions of grandeur.
I'll have to think about this for a little bit, but maybe. But since nobody wants to take the burden, I'm happy to say I represent Islam. Maybe we can.
I'm afraid no one can take the burden of another, although some will take the burden of another. That's straight out the Quran, no editing. So there's another contradiction and a miracle of logic that they can both be true.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Okay.
Right, so I'm going to end this stuff. And thank you very much for listening to us just with a non-scripted, nothing planned at all whatsoever stream. But we made it. And the dog was the best bit, let's all be honest. That's one cute pup. So, I'm going to end the broadcast.
Wait, I see one thing that I quickly want to say something to, if that's okay.
Go for it. Sure.
I know that's just a rhetorical question. I was going to go ahead and talk about it anyway. But Sarah Michael Ashraf said, last question, what does AP think about the work Gondal is doing regarding the neurology issue? This is actually something that I am sitting down and talking about with Abdullah Gondal, who is an ex-Muslim who is very diligent in researching Islamic scripture and hadith and Quran verses and analyzing the mental state of Muhammad and pursuing this whole idea of whether Muhammad had mental issues or not. And he put a lot of work together and also talked to experts on this whole stuff. And I really like what he's doing. And I have agreed with him to come together in a few months and to actually make a few videos on my channel or also live streams, and also include certain psychologists, psychiatrists, and neurologists, and together analyze certain reports about Muhammad and whether Muhammad was mentally ill or not. So
I've got a brilliant. I started doing a series. Oh shucks, I forgot. I stopped halfway because it's like Muhammad and. But on his different varying neuroses, on his misogyny, on his inferiority complex. There's a very good book. I think I mentioned it to you ages ago. I will try to find a PDF, or just gate crash one of your streams, because there's loads of pretty decent psychological material in there, and it's pretty layman-ish. You can you make yourself sound clever by reading it out, basically.
It's interesting.
Which is what I did. Yeah,
this is something that really needs some attention. It can be very revealing. Yeah.
Well, I mean, someone's got to spank him, and it might as well be us, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. So, could you all, anyone who's not suffering from the illness that AP is suffering from, could you all please pray for, especially Christians in Afghanistan and in any areas of persecution, but also could we pray for the Taliban? I know it sounds a bit of a nutty one, but if anyone needs a bit of clarity, it's them guys. And all of the persecutors of any religious minorities, in fact, it doesn't matter from whether they're godless like AP or have a faith, they need the truth like you wouldn't believe. So that is why Jesus says, pray for your persecutors, you know, bless those who curse you, because they're not winning any popularity contest or any eternal, like, they're just effed. So like, feel sorry for them, because yeah, that's what we must do. And now that I've made AP feel really uncomfortable by, like, you know, speaking about God when clearly he knows he's God, yeah, I'm just gonna end it there really, while we all feel really weird. I'm just gonna end it. So right, I'll see you all later. Lots of love, and yeah, God bless.
Thanks so much, everybody. Bye. Stay away from Islam.
Subscribe to his channel when you've got through watching every single video of mine, obviously.
Subscribe to
okay. All right then, he loves me really. All right, see you later. Bye.